Did you know, Mark, your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value.
That's right. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight into your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards.
A Bitcoin bonus. That is what I need in my life. So I guess I have to visit Gemini.com/card today. If you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
Issued by WebBank. To qualify for the $200 crypto intro bonus, you must spend $3,000 in your first 90 days. Some exclusions to instant rewards apply. This is not investment advice, and trading crypto involves risk. Check Gemini's website for more details on rates and fees.
TikTok for Business is helping owners like you reach new customers every day.
We saw up to a 10x return on our TikTok shop ads. A few years ago, I started sharing my love for fashion on social media, and Willow Boutique was born. We're not just a place to shop, we've really become a community. TikTok allows us to find more people to have that great experience.
I cannot imagine my business without TikTok. It's completely changed my life, and I could not be happier.
Head over to getstarted.tiktok.com/TikTok ads.
Oh, Sessy, the wild card round is in the books after the Steelers stomped the Texans, and now we look ahead to what could be a very special divisional round.
Could it be bye-bye to Aaron Rodgers?
Maybe, baby. We're going to hit that. We're going to hit some news. We're going to do a live stream and get some questions and give you some answers. It's all coming up. Time to heed the call. Hey-oh! Welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast. Monday night, live on YouTube. Shout out to everybody that's logged on right now. We're going to try to hit some questions at some point in the show. We're going to get you caught up on the news that's out there. But first, we're going to start out with a game. Dan Hanzus here with Marc Sessler, Conor Orr, Justin Graver on the ones and twos, and Sessy, wildcard weekend in the books. Maybe didn't finish as strong in terms of drama, but you could say the Houston Texans made a statement with their 30-6 victory at Acrisure.
Yes, I can. I think they did. I think they felt like a team, or they felt like someone who was having a tough time getting out of bed. And then the day started. You get the things going, you get going, and you're productive. And they started to dominate in the end, the way that I thought that they would. But it was a labored effort and an uncharacteristic C.J. Stroud performance. Because I saw this stat before this that he was like 0 for 3 or something in any weather under one of these stupid weather stats. And I thought, oh man, because Dan, you and I did something very special tonight. And I thought maybe I need to flip that around or rethink that. I'll do the Mark thing where it's 4 p.m. before the game on the West Coast. I'm going to make a lot of changes. And I was like, I forgot to make changes. And then I thought, as this game was ending, it's good that you don't overthink this because you.
Well, what are you
won.
referring to, Mark?
We locked this game, and you locked it. You locked it, and I double locked it, and I was like, honestly, I will say one thing about the tenor of this game. Early on, I thought to myself, this is one of the worst days that I've had as an adult in many years. that this happens to me over and over in the NFL. So right now, I feel like God is shining on us. He is showing his face to us, Dan.
It did feel like at the beginning of the fourth quarter, Mark and I on the group text thread demanded that God show himself. And like from that point on, the Texans rolled out 23 straight points, including 2 defensive scores. And Connor, they made up for what happened with C.J. Stroud, who had an uncharacteristically miserable first half. And he almost had I say this only half joking. I did not feel comfortable about locking this game with Sessy the way it played out. And the way Stroud played, it looked like he had like a gypsy curse on him in the first half. So they kind of survived in spite of Stroud. And again, it was the defense that overwhelmed the Steelers team that just was not ready for that.
It was. And
it's me. It's God.
Thank you, God. We, on behalf of Mark and myself, I don't know if you're on speaking terms with Sessler right now, but Things are good. We appreciate you.
It's odd because it was a game that Tomlin, it fell very much in line to how he likes to win, right? Forcing turnovers, setting up easy ops, on the offensive side of the field, and then you hopefully convert in those moments. But it was like fumble, and then the Steelers would go 3 and out. Interception, then the Steelers would go 3 and out. And what was kind of remarkable to me is that Aaron abandoned half of his receivers after mistakes in this game. And you wonder if his just built-in passive aggression ended up costing them, because it was like he just annexed DK Metcalf from the scheme. There was someone else too that had a drop earlier in the game that just got completely, I think it was Freiermuth, right? Didn't get a ball until the very end of this one. And their inability to capitalize on those turnovers cost them. If they would have scored on even half of those, I think we'd still be sweating this one out. This could be like a 13-13 game right now.
Yeah, the pivotal play in the game, obviously, it's 10-6. The Texans, because of all the mistakes they were making, most of them miscommunications between either center and Stroud, or Stroud just having butterfingers and then making bad decisions, it allowed the Steelers to be in a game like they had no business being in this game. This was, again, if you want to make that case, like, what is going on? Why do we have a 7th seed in the playoffs? And it's hard to do it this season because on the other side, what you got from the 7th seed was a Packers team that played a classic with the Bears, and they seemed evenly matched. But this Steelers team didn't feel like a playoff team once you saw them in this particular matchup. This was a very, very tough matchup for an old man quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. And after they go up 10-6, and it's 3rd and long, Rodgers drops back, and Aikman did a great job pointing it out. He said, after Will Anderson crushes Rodgers, Sheldon Rankin scoops up the ball, takes it to the house, 17-6, game over. It looked like it was an all-out blitz, but that was just their front four, doing what their front four does. Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson leading the way, guys in the interior like Rankins filling gaps and making plays themselves. And as we look ahead to next week and what we're going to get, another slobber knocker when it's going to be Texans at Foxborough against the Patriots, this defensive line has a chance to be special, like one that we talk about 25 years from now. And Aaron Rodgers just happened to be up against the wrong team to try to extend his season and maybe his career.
Yeah, and there was a play where they showed Rodgers kind of floating out into space. And Troy mentioned the Rodgers of old would have taken off in that spot. He would have taken off on his feet and gained a first down and used his legs to add more to his game, and he just simply can't do it. And I think the Texans defense, because they're not always a blitzing defense, they're happy just to sit there and see what happens and destroy you. They understand that their offense is going to show up or not show up. Tonight was a special case of that, but they just seem to ignore everything happening around them and create total blistering chaos. And Rodgers was the wrong quarterback on the wrong night. And I think if you're Tomlin, you're like, cool, we've got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers that can't get it done on his own. Then we've got to be able to run the ball. They were outgained 164 yards to 44 on the ground. The Steelers' offense was simply broken this evening. And that's why I think if you were watching this, you gained confidence thinking that even though Stroud had the worst half of any playoff quarterback of this entire weekend, you kind of felt like they were gonna find gaps and holes to get back into this, and the defense would make a difference. I just felt like they were going to score a touchdown at some point, and then they did. It's that's kind of a signature Texans win, and you do believe they can do this next week again against the Patriots. A very different team. It's a different challenge.
I was so happy when Sheldon Rankin scored because, he had 1.5 sacks tonight. He was awesome in this game, but he's been awesome for years in a way that nobody quite understands, which is that he's so good at just unlocking all the skilled defensive ends and pass rushers and more athletic tackles around him. He just knows exactly where to go to kind of sandwich himself into the line and free up guys like Will Anderson. And he's been such a key part of this. It's like a 31-year-old, never talked about former first-round pick out of Louisville. And it's great to see those guys sometimes just get a ball that falls into their chest and they get to run it into the end zone. So that was awesome.
Yeah, and I imagine, Stroud will be better next week against the Patriots because he can't be much worse than he was in this game. In addition to all the trouble with ball security, he missed a wide open Nico Collins late in the first half that could have potentially gone for a touchdown. I mean, he had that much open space. And you look at the next week and you don't know what you're going to get from the offense. You really got to give a lot of credit to their running game, which I understand the last drive of the game where they scored a rushing touchdown in between the two defensive scores. That was a Steelers team that was just gassed, and it got to the point where they just didn't have anything left. But so maybe that inflates the stats. But again, 31 carries collectively, 164 yards, averaging over 5 yards a carry. Woody Marks looked excellent in this game, averaging almost 6 yards per carry. And Nick Chubb, our old friend Mark, he looked really good in this game as a little change of pace guy. He had some nice runs in this game. He's not explosive like the good old days, but he gave them something in this game. And that's going to be important because if the Texans are going to get deeper into these playoffs, they're going to need to get something from their ground game. They're going to need a better C.J. Stroud, and we don't even know if they're going to have Nico Collins next week.
Right.
We're not doctors, and I didn't check the Twitter doctors out there.
Well, you're not.
Yeah, I'm not personally a doctor, although I do have a T-shirt with my face on it. Go to heedthecallpod.com for exclusive merch. So that's got to count for something, Ceci. But yeah, like Nico Collins looked like he had a pretty significant looking concussion, getting carted off with a towel over his head. And that means he's in doubt. So their best offensive player could be out of the mix. So there are challenges, but Connor, this defense could be so good. They could be one of those defenses that comes around every 10, 15 years that's good enough to just carry a team all the way. I mean, they have that ceiling. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not quite Ravens-esque, like 2000 Ravens-esque, but it does conjure that thought, right? Where it's Ravens.
About 2015 Broncos-esque.
2015 Broncos, post-Dungy Buccaneers, Legion of Boom Seahawks. Like, I think that they're probably, those are your defense could win the Super Bowl teams, and I think Houston's definitely in there. But just one more point in the offense. Like, yes, when you lose a target like that, it's devastating, but kind of the way that they've been playing with Stroud lately, it's almost like I think both of their backs had at least a 50% success rate rushing. I think a quarter of Woody Marks' rushes went for a first down. If you can do that, plus just the quick game with Stroud and that defense, I don't think it matters. And I know it's shitty to say that it doesn't matter that your number one wide receiver isn't out there and you'll have to play a truncated version of your offense, but it doesn't matter like, say, another team losing their elite alpha wide receiver like it does for the Texans.
They've had to live without him before. It's not been to ultimate success, but Christian Kirk tonight steps up.
Looked
big
really
time,
good. Yeah.
144 yards. And those big plays, 3 big catches, I think kind of awakened this offense and kind of got them going. And if you pair that with the defense, I mean, I know it's the Steelers offense, but they held them to 2 of 14 on third down. When you win that battle, like you're going to win games, you're going to win playoff games. And I think they just reduced the Steelers to salt. And it's probably the last time we see the Steelers quarterback. I would imagine it seemed like the way they were talking about it. It sounded like that.
Yeah, if it is, it never ends well. Kalen Bullock steps in front of a bad Rodgers pass at 17-6 and takes it back for a pick 6. So that could be Rodgers' last pass. Let the conversation begin once again. And if you remember Brett Favre and the endless chatter around when he would hang it up, it's funny how history has repeated itself with another Packers legend. This game, and they certainly didn't lose because of Aaron Rodgers. I thought they were just totally overmatched. But Rodgers looked like an old quarterback in this game, and you're not always going to face a Texans defense. But the fact that he could be reduced to, I thought at one point, I remarked on a family text thread, that Rodgers, he kind of looked like in the pocket, like a baby deer on ice. Like and Aikman did make the point, like those easy 10-yard scrambles, you can't do those. He's not comfortable. And when he gets hit, it looks like it hurts now. And it's like, sometimes it's just time to walk away. And I just wonder, Connor, if he takes this game, because this is one of those games that probably leads to a little looking in the mirror, like, man, I wasn't even competitive on this stage. I'm 42 years old. Maybe it's time. Or he says, well, the greater look at the season was I did have moments. I got 10 wins. I got back to the playoffs. This wasn't a disaster by any means, but this was a tough game, and he looked like a very old quarterback close to retirement.
So the week before Christmas, and I promise this story has a point, my son
Sure.
would not wear a coat. And we were like, dude, wear your fucking coat. You're going to get sick for Christmas. And he's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Nothing affects me. And then, of course, sick as a dog for Christmas, has to lay in bed while everybody's out opening presents. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Aaron Rodgers won his MVPs with Matt LaFleur because they had a dominant downhill running game that he incorporated into the passing offense. When he gets to the Jets, it's like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. We're going to be dead last in the NFL in rushing attempts. And then the Steelers last year, 2024, were 4th in the NFL in rushing attempts. This year, 28th, because Aaron Rodgers just likes to do what Aaron Rodgers likes to do. And it's like, put on your coat, motherfucker. Like, have a run game. Do it. It's going to prolong your career. And if he could just get with one of these coaches that would pound that into his skull, he could play until he was 48 and he'd be good. That's what bothers me.
And that's in an Arthur Smith offense too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I found it telling because it reminds me of how he acted before he left Green Bay when we were wondering that he was talking to MVS on the sideline in the final seconds of this game. It's like it's the old confidant he's telling, like, I'm out of here. And I think the same, you tell me, but like, I think we've heard this about Tomlin, but the way that Troy and Joe were talking about Tomlin at the end of this, it's like, Tomlin told you something,
Yes.
and you're in coded language telling us something, that Tomlin is out of here too. And that means 3 AFC North coaches are gone, and yet Zach Taylor remains. If
Isn't
that's
it
true.
funny? I mean, it would be incredible if, we talked about going into the regular season finale between Ravens and Steelers, the coach that loses this could be out. Maybe they're both out. And, that's now 9 years that Tomlin Steelers have not won a playoff game. Forget about going on a run. Not won a playoff game. And I don't know. I feel like it's a coin flip. If I'm the Steelers, making it an extra round, of course, getting into the playoffs is always a good thing. But maybe you're a little bit behind the 8 ball now with these other teams that have got things up and going. But still, there's some very attractive candidates out there. I just don't know how attractive is the Steelers head coaching job. So first of all, you have to follow a guy like Tomlin that was an institution. You don't have a quarterback on the roster, a long-term answer there. It's a good job there. I get ostensibly they're a Tiffany franchise, but I don't know if that's even a hot job or it's going to be another conversation. This has turned into a very interesting year with head coach intrigue because you got the guys that are just bad coaches. You sweep those guys out. But it feels like the bill has come due for a lot of these veteran successful coaches who haven't been able to get over the hump. And now we're going to see if it's Tomlin's turn to go.
And right, you got handed over the Ben Roethlisberger era, and that 9-year stretch without a playoff win is telling because it obviously overlaps with when Big Ben was playing and in his prime, and you had Bruce Arians, as your offensive coordinator for some portion of that, and kind of your last gasp of success. But it's smart. Sean Payton paved the way for these guys to be like, my roster sucks. I've maxed out the credit cards. I've tried everything else, and I'm just going to walk away and do TV for a year, be great at it. And then one of these other franchises is going to completely bottom out, but give me a slightly better option, and I'm going to take that.
We have, according to our producer, Justin, and we're going live. And by the way, we see you in the chat right now. A lot of people in the chat enjoying a little live HTC. Here's Tomlin, who just got off the podium. Here's his opening remarks.
Oh, man, certainly a disappointing end to our season, but you certainly got to give Houston a lot of credit, in particular their defensive unit. I thought they ruled the day. They certainly had a reputation for that coming in, and they confirmed it with their performance. And that's just how it goes. We didn't capitalize off of turnovers in the first half. We were +2 and still down by a point at the half, and that's just not a good sign. I was talking to Lisa post-halftime, and I was talking about our inability to perform on third down. I thought was significant, and it continued to be into the second half. But you certainly got to give those guys credit. We didn't do enough in possession down ball to get things going, any sort of rhythm or real points and so forth. And I thought that they did a real good job on third down, and we didn't get off enough on defense, and particularly as the game wore on, it became an attrition component of it. And so, it's disappointing, but I'm certainly thankful for this group and their efforts. But it's a disappointing night tonight.
Yeah, expect. Yeah, I'm curious. I guess we could hang in there and see what some of the questions are. But Tomlin, it's unlikely he's going to make any big pronouncements tonight. But we're going to learn more about the Steelers going forward. Any last thoughts on this game, either Texans or Pittsburgh side of it?
I think the Texans, to your point earlier, Dan. I mean, at this point, I look at them in Buffalo, and I think that Houston could probably beat them by 2 scores at this point if they play that well defensively again. And I don't know. I just think that Josh Allen wouldn't be able to do nearly as many Josh Allen things as he would if Houston plays the way that they did tonight.
It's just such a luxury to have the pass rush that they do, that they don't have. D'Amico Ryans has that ability. I don't need to blitz because I got 2 of the best 5 defensive ends flying off the edge every play, and then I got stars in my back end. And yeah, maybe this is going to be one of those years where it's a truly great defense that goes all the way, or at least comes out of the AFC. But it's going to be a great. Why don't we check out the bracket, the updated bracket here in the NFL, the Lombardi Trophy, Super Bowl 60. Here we go. So next week we're going to have Niners at Seahawks, Rams at Bears in the NFC, and in the AFC, the Bills at the Broncos, and yes, the Texans at the Patriots. The Patriots will play early Sunday, Patriots-Texans early Sunday, and then the divisional round closes with Bills-Broncos, which could be a classic. This is going to be a great round, guys. I look at these games. There ain't a stinker here. I think that aesthetically, maybe Patriots-Texans might not be beautiful, but Mark, I know you like a good slobber knocker with hard hitting, and I think both those teams are going to be teeing off on one another in that game, and the other ones all seem like they could go right down to the wire.
Yeah, that one might look a little bit different than the others, which I'm fine with. Like for Drake May, it's like, we keep saying, "Oh, you haven't faced a team. You haven't faced a team." You're going to face one of the great defenses right now. We'll see how that works.
I was very nervous. When C.J. Stroud was he had the Sessler voodoo curse. It seemed in his eyes. I was like, "Are the Patriots going to get the damn Pittsburgh Steelers in Foxborough next week? I'm going to lose it." But you will not hear me complain. The Texans are going to give the Patriots all they can handle, and if the Pats get by this Houston defense, they deserve their opportunity to play for Super Bowl 60 the following week.
This curse is becoming a bit of a nonsensical concept because I switched my pick to the Bears, and I believe I'm seeing the Bears still here alive in the bracket. Yes, they are. They're right there. They're playing the Rams. And I also told you that the Patriots were going to thrive in the AFC, and here they are. What else do we need to know? I mean, there were other things that didn't go correctly.
What, did you go 6-0 in your picks this week?
Yeah, but then, like, if I were to chalk up everything that everyone else got wrong, it's probably like, oh, Mark's just probably sitting right in the.
No, Mark, this is not a manufactured narrative. You have been, your curse has been very powerful and pure this season. I think everybody knows it. You had a good about 48 hours, and that's something we could build on. But let's not go crazy saying the curse has been eradicated. We got to stack. Like, this is like Robin Ventura when he was a rookie starting 0 for 41. Like, and then he went 2 for 4, and it's like, yeah, you're not out of it yet. Like, let's pick up a couple more.
That is a powerful. That is a parallel that is extremely powerful to the greater audience.
Jesus God,
I know you get it. You worked for Baseball Weekly in 1995.
1895.
So anyway, we did. By the way, speaking of the lock standings, I think this will make you happy, Mark, because we get to just watch Conor set himself on fire. Conor drops from first place all the way down to third place with yet another loss. Unbelievable. Zuzzer moves into all alone in first place at 10-9 with 3 weeks to play. Sessler, because of his Back to the Future lock, goes from 7-9 to 9-9. Graver, just an apocalypse behind the glass.
Mathematical question.
Yeah.
Mine adds up to 18. Everyone else adds up to 19.
You went Back to the Future, pal.
I thought.
No, you're right about that. No,
no. How this works?
No, this is Justin. Justin, you got to come to us, buddy. If you needed clarity.
Well, you said last week that you get one.
He gets
bonus.
this win. Right. And then he goes back to the future to reverse a loss to a win.
Loss.
Turns into a win.
But that gives him 3 points.
No,
What?
it just switches
No,
a
he's
loss
10 and
to
9.
a win.
He's 10
So
and 9.
I am 10 and 9.
I see.
Now, when we talk about
Live
fraud,
television, folks.
when we
Dan's
talk about
biblical.
election fraud in our country and other things, like look what just happened right here, and it's like who's the victim? Oh, let's see if the math sneaks by Mark. Well done, everyone. It didn't.
Sassy, I had your back. Don't play the
You
victim
did.
here. I had
I'm
your
not,
back immediately.
I'm not pointing the finger at you, but
Yeah.
I'm pointing it at someone.
Let's just all like enjoy the afterglow of Conor in an absolute free fall. Now in third place. We'll even finish ahead of Graver is the question.
I know. That's the really troubling part. It's not necessarily losing ground to the two of you, but it's getting closer to Justin. And
I know.
and that's really what bothers
Which
me.
is really
Yeah.
the bottom of the barrel in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Look at that
Here it is
immediate
updated.
graphic switch.
Good
Just
job,
bro.
Justin. Good recovery by Gravy. There it is. 10 and 9, 10 and 9, 9 and 10. Gravy 7 and 12. And it should be known you have used your 88 mile per hour DeLorean. I have not yet. I still have that chambered, as does Connor, as does Justin, whatever that means.
Right, and we can answer this question later, but why am I listed after Dan? A question for later, but just again,
Well, that
it's
one
like,
seems.
what are we doing here?
Alphabetically, it's in line.
Well, because you're not actually 10 and 9, you're fake Back to the Future 10
I'm
and
not
9.
going down that
whereas
road.
Dan is,
We're not going down that road.
Oh no!
Dan is an ethical 10 and 9, so I think he should be first.
Dan created the rule.
Oh baby! No, I actually think Justin has this one.
You
right.
know what? All right. I can log off
all
as easily as anyone else.
For anyone listening to the show on the podcast side of things, we're going to take a break. If you're on the live stream right now, we stay right on. And here we are. All right. So there you go. The wild card round in the books. Before we check in with the live chatters, why don't we... what does some people say? I just want to see some of this stuff. Some people chiming in. Justin sniping the Cess dog in a big spot. It sounds like something I would say. But that is accurate.
I feel nothing.
Yeah. Mark shattered the curse narrative. I would not go that far. He's Robin Ventura. He just got off 0 for 41, and that's we're happy for him. I think so. Stop the count, Dan says. No, we're okay. We're going to keep it real. A lot of questions about whether our producer is high on edibles right now. Problematic and certainly possible, and perhaps even probable.
That's why, though, it was so perfect of him to explain the Back to the Future lock. And, like, it was just such a thing that a high person would say. It would be like, well, actually, the reason that you're not first in this order is because you didn't use your Back to the Future lock. And it's like something at like a Kratom store would try to explain to you. It's perfect.
All right. Why don't we do some news? Let's check in with the news. Justin, take it away.
A brilliant play, unbelievable execution by Purdy and CNBC.
Okay.
CNBC. Like, ladies and gentlemen, the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans.
When I heard that, because I texted you guys, I was like, I've watched this like 6 times. I went back and watched it and was like, I'm pretty sure he said CNBC, but I was like, I got to be wrong. And then you were like, no, that's what he said. It's like, that's a very bizarre Freudian slip.
Can you show it again? Because when I watched it live, he says it, he catches it immediately, but then they move on, so it's not referenced, and he just makes a face like he just sharded a little bit.
A brilliant play, unbelievable execution by Purdy and CNBC.
Okay.
No, we didn't see it, but yeah, there was a little bit of a shart face that was made. It's like,
if you
I gotta
were
get to the bathroom.
If you were to kind of distill CNBC's audience into one human, it would look a lot like Jason Garrett.
Do you think so? I don't. Jason Garrett?
Like Jason Garrett putting on his quarter zip, getting ready for 18 at Bethpage, and he's got to check his stock portfolio. Yeah,
I'd
think
agree,
that
and
tracks.
he's also the
Yeah.
only guy in the CNBC airport shops that used to exist in the.
Justin, can you look up Jason Garrett's voter registration? What is he registered as? Thank you.
Oh,
Sure, Dan. I'll get right on that.
I'm just saying, I don't know if he's a CNBC guy, but
hold on.
Maybe he is.
It's easy to find out. Give me 2 seconds.
All right. While you do that, I'll mention the Green Bay Packers and their head coach. Are they going to have a future together? The bearded boy, Matt LaFleur, as my father once called him. The Packers are now expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, per sources. That per Adam Schefter's reporting. Now, that's very different. Let's just make this clear. The fact that they like to work something out is very different than that they will work something out. And it's also very different than both sides want to be together still, right? Like, I think there's still more to this story. He has 1 year left on his deal, Mark. Obviously, it's a bit of a raw place for the Packers, who just got their hearts ripped out by a rival and everything went to it. But I guess the biggest headline here is, yes, they didn't a day later move and fire LaFleur, and I guess there's a path for the two sides to continue on. Whether or not that's good for the Packers, that's a different conversation.
It feels Packers-ish, where they're not going to do something rash, but like, language matters here, and you could have made the choice to completely quell this and say, this is not a situation. Instead, like, the way they phrased all that makes it a situation that we're talking about right now. I go back to the summer, and when I so-called cursed the Packers, it was because of some stuff, player interviews, talking about LaFleur and LaFleur talking about his players. And it's a very young team, especially on offense, and how much they were on a mission together, how much they loved each other, and there was mutual admiration. Like, if that's melted away, I know that, you're blowing all these games down the stretch here, which is disturbing. That happens to teams. I don't see them as like an Eagles chaos type team on any level, though, right? Like, to me, they feel in control of who they are as a group. They're growing as an offense. Like, I feel like the players and LaFleur get along pretty well. It's like, you fire him for who? Like, I know there are a lot of younger candidates out there, but that's what LaFleur was. And to me, I just think it's like, stay the course on this one. Like, give it another go. That's
right
what
now,
I would
they're
say.
all there still, though. I mean, all the guys, whether it's Harbaugh or Stefanski or Mike McDaniel, all the guys that are seen as the top guys, none of them are off the board yet. So that the Packers wanted to get aggressive and go after one of those guys. I know there's some reporting, Connor, around Harbaugh and him having connections to Green Bay area. It's still there if they wanted to do that, but whether or not they decide to is a different conversation.
So I think that this is money. It's money. It comes down to money, right? And Harbaugh's connection to the Green Bay Packers is that his agent is the son of the team's former president. And so
that's a connection.
Right.
I mean,
like, could you back channel something in some way, shape, or form? No. I mean, I think that's two presidents removed at this point from that person. But John Harbaugh wants $20 million a year. And so for the Packers to be using that as like a swing piece in this negotiation with LaFleur's got to be smart enough to know, like, if you ain't paying me, you're not paying that guy like $5 million a year more than me. And I think what ultimately doesn't make any sense about firing LaFleur is that you've basically, by getting Parsons, by allowing him to kind of take the reins of the draft and get a receiver in the first round, you're basically like entering a period of time where it's like, this is LaFleur's guys. These are his guys. This is the stamp that he wanted on this team. And then to cut him out after the first year and hope that somebody can pick up the pieces of it and go. No. I mean, I think a lot of this is like, it's injury related. Your quarterback got hurt. So yeah, you finished the season a little flat and Micah Parsons got hurt too. Give him another chance, like with the full complement.
But they've also been on the record that they don't want to have a lame duck coach, so hence the predicament they're in. Do they re-up with him, give him a longer deal, or do they go back on what they had said publicly, that they don't want him to be on a contract year, in which case it kind of looks like you're kind of half in on him, and does that cause problems? They have decisions to make, but Connor's
Dan,
right. Everything
all
goes
those,
back to money.
All those Wisconsin citizens that have the certificate because they all own the Packers, give them the contract and they can pay for it. How about that?
Listen, they're publicly owned. I have no idea what that means, but maybe it means they could all pay for it. Speaking of the Bears, who shocked the Packers with that big fourth quarter, Ben Johnson got a lot of praise. He also got a lot of criticism for doing something that a head coach doesn't typically do. which is just let loose a bunch of expletives about his hatred of another team. F the Packers, F them, famously. Now that goes down in Bears lore after the wild card win. And on Monday, he was asked by reporters, is that the way a coach should be? Do you think the team, the Bears, are happy that you're being that boisterous and outspoken about your hatred of another team? Here's what Ben Johnson said. This lunatic, love this crazy mother.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, there's a rivalry that exists between these two teams. Something that I fully recognize and I'm a part of, and I mean, I don't like that team. So George and I have talked, and we're on the same page.
Listen, he didn't back down.
Good.
George is George
Right.
McCaskey, the owner of the Bears. Now, here's something, Connor. And it's fair because, as you know, I kind of danced on the Eagles' grave yesterday, and you're going to catch some guff when you do that. And I did. And some of the stuff in my mentions yesterday was about how can you be so anti-Sirianni, but then also say that what you think Ben Johnson's doing is awesome or whatever. And it's a fair point. I mean, what it's a fair point in that, yes, he's doing something that's a little outside the status quo and emotions on his sleeve. It just does. It feels different though, doesn't it? Like
it does.
And I think and I think this is a little unfair to Sirianni. Even I'll say, like sometimes one bit of criticism that will be lobbed his way is that he's basically just like a cheerleader or a caretaker for that team. I don't think it's that far at all. But Ben Johnson is this new identity of the Chicago Bears. He's a genius play caller who's come in with the right temperament. Like he deserves so much of the credit for what's happening in the Bears. There's no one that can question that. So part of that is his spirit, his attitude, and it's infectious with the players. So while I can see how Packers fans would be super pissed off or Eagles fans would say it's hypocritical, to me it's different. And maybe a year from now or 3 years from now, if the Bears win a couple Super Bowls, I won't feel this way. But right now it feels refreshing because this guy has basically backed up his talk.
So yeah, I think I understand this, right? Sirianni has the very Italian trait, much like my wife, where they can go so hard in the paint after you, and then when there is inverse criticism, like a return criticism, they're able to build this like phalanx around them that you are just the craziest person on earth for criticizing them, and that this person is uniquely in the right. Whereas Ben Johnson, I think, is just nuts, right? Like, I think
Yes.
that's Ben Johnson is just like, this is a person that like the Bears found down by the river, like sharpening an axe. And they were like, let's just see if he wants to coach the football team. That's the difference between those two people. Yeah.
I don't think Ben Johnson can be any different. I think this is how he emotionally and physically responds to these situations. And he is, there are anecdotes out there that he's been kind of a crazy person dating back to days of youth on some level. Crazy in like just in a mental way. But
it's in the eyes.
I also think,
It is.
to be fair on the Sirianni, I don't think Sirianni can be any different either. Like, he is who he is also. And the only thing about Ben Johnson, like, it's really great right now because they're like an Indiana in like the NFL. They're the greatest story right now. And it's a team that's not been there forever. But it will come back to roost at some point.
Sure.
Because you can't go do all this. It's great now, but it's just like wrestling. Like, it's going to come back to roost at some point.
Perfect example, Mark, is last year, the Dan Quinn magic of the Commanders, right? And Dan Quinn just presses all the right buttons and gets the rookie into the right place and hires all the right people. They were winning cardiac level games like this last year. They started their winning streak after a Hail Mary against the Bears, right? And they would win all these games at the last minute. It's like, no, this is Dan Quinn magic. This year it's Ben Johnson magic. And when the regression happens and their offensive linemen finally get hurt, I mean, they're so healthy on the offensive line. It's insane. When those guys finally start missing games, the narrative will change and Caleb Williams will throw some late picks and all of a sudden, it's not that cool to be screaming, f the other team after a game. And, but let's enjoy it while we still got it.
Yeah. If you went through the Rex Ryan era, like it starts out a certain way and it's cool. And then people dunk on you when you're on the other side of it, and you just got to Bears fans, I guess, just be ready. Enjoy it now. You'll probably get your comeuppance, but in the here and now, it's exciting. I think,
who went through this too, real quick? It's like in a different era. Jerry Glanville, who would go out there and say wild stuff. And he would raise the temperature of the entire league, and it was enjoyable. But then people went out of their way. There was a game where the Bengals and Sam Weiss beat him 49-3, and he wheeled out later on when he was a Falcons coach a California trophy after beating I believe the Chargers or something, and they played the Niners at home, and the Niners beat them 56-0 or something, because it's we hate you because you're a little weasel. And so if you play the weasel route, you're going to raise the temperature of your opponent. So be ready.
See, I don't think he's a weasel, though.
I'm not saying he's a weasel at all, but if you're going to go, if the main story, we're talking about this because he's saying, fuck other team B, and I'm going to squeal down and not shake your hand and rip my shirt off in the locker room. It's all wonderful until it's not working.
He shook his hand. He just came in Shawn Michaels in the barber shop, a big mouth open, big, exaggerated handshake, which was almost even worse than blowing him off. He's a maniac.
I did love, so yesterday I was at the Eagles game, right? And I noticed it too at the Bears game. I love watching the director of PR who stands next to the coach at the podium, and then you watch their facial expression contort because they want the coach to hit all the right notes that they've just talked about behind the curtain. But you can see the Bears' whole PR team right behind Ben Johnson when he just runs into that room and it's fuck the Packers, and then they're just well, all right, there's nothing we can do about this one.
I think somebody had it right in the chat that Ben Johnson is a maniac, Sirianni is a douchebag, and it is different. These are two different things. They're two different categories.
That was Dan's comment in the chat.
It's all coming. It was a long gestating take that's all coming up Hanzus now, Sessy.
I'm just
jump
jealous
on board.
of you. I'm so jealous.
Just jump
of
on
you.
board. And I have another take for you. Come on, Sirianni. Win another playoff game. I dare you.
Well, that's going to take another year.
Or never again.
Wow.
That is my prediction. And go ahead, cut this and run it back if I'm wrong. Okay? All right. Enough of that. Speaking of the Eagles, they're expected to move on from offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo. Somebody's head's got to roll. It's probably not going to be Nick Sirianni. Probably not going to be Jalen Hurts. So, yes, obviously it's Kevin Patullo. This guy who's had a tough year. His house has been egged. He's been the face of perceived failure by Eagles fans. I saw someone who had one of their little, where you have your own golf downstairs area where your driving range and a screen that you could either put a golf course on it and it's a video game type thing, or you could put an image up and it's just Patullo's head. He's just smashing golf balls into Patullo's face. That type of situation. Jalen Hurts had an opportunity at the locker room clean out on Monday to throw some support behind Patullo, and it underlined that it's over.
Do you want him to come back as the offensive coordinator?
It's too soon to think about that. And like I said, I put my trust in Howie, Nick, and Mr. Lurie.
I know. What about AJ Brown?
He go.
AJ and I have talked. We're in a great place.
The frustrating thing, though, and I know this is going to sound like a defensive Patullo, this is the offense that Jalen Hurts wants to run. And you go back to the Super Bowl year in 2022, they cut out all of the motion, all of the personnel changes at the line, all the cool stuff that every other team is doing because it makes him uncomfortable and it muddies the picture for him. Jalen's the one that wants this offense. And, there was this one series in the third quarter of that game yesterday, and I think we talked about it yesterday, where, you had motion and you had all this interesting stuff going on, and the team actually moved the ball down the field, and then it just stopped because that's not how Jalen likes to play. And to say that Patullo can't call a whole game like that, I think we don't know, because I love
this corner. Your corner is almost as hot as Sirianni is actually the Dalton line of head coaches, that Jalen Hurts is ultimately the problem in Philadelphia.
I think a lot of people think that. That's all over. That's out there. I think a lot of people are pointing at Jalen Hurts and saying,
I'm trying to give Connor some love.
Well, no, Connor said it very well. But also from a PR angle or an environment angle, could you possibly ever bring him back? Kevin Patullo.
No. And I think that the second difficult part here for Sirianni, and this plays beautifully into Dan's hand, which, by the way, I'm so jealous of you because, like, as a fellow cynical person who loves when, like, something I hate comes crumbling down, like, you're really in your era right now, and I'm very happy for you.
I know. I wish Mark would come with me, but I'll take it from you.
What's original? What if I jump on your take that, like, I don't really agree with most of it? Like, but I think it requires probably some deep therapy, like why he generates so much anger and hatred within you.
No, I had it pegged. I mean,
no. I mean, from the reason that he gets under your skin to such a degree.
Because I knew he was a phony.
I think it requires.
Not because
some
I knew he was
thought.
a phony. Nice try, though.
So that's
not the answer. That's a Sirianni type answer. Just shrug it off.
Let's play this whole scenario out now. And the Eagles do what they need to do to pacify everybody because you're not going to move on from the quarterback. Maybe you draft someone. Maybe you do what they did to Hurts with Wentz, right? And you get somebody in like the second or the third round and you're like, hey, you're on notice here. But let's say you go out and you get that experienced offensive coordinator and it's not going to be Mike McDaniel, but maybe it's somebody in that vicinity of like, this guy comes in with a little bit of panache and a little bit of a reputation. Now you have possibly two former head coaches in Vic Fangio and whoever this offensive coordinator is running both sides of the ball. And that edge, whatever you're saying it is for Sirianni as the CEO, just continues to winnow, right? And it continues to diminish in importance the more that you get these great coordinators on board. And so again, right into Dan's hand here. I think this is just a volleyball up here so he can spike it over the edge. You know?
Well, I mean, I can't just like we're catering to the whole thing. That's fine. I'm not going to be a part of it. Like I don't.
This is a good comment.
Agree.
The quiet storm is brewing. All right, that's it for news. That's all we have time for in the news. I wanted to get to the one of my least favorite talkers in social. Do we want to play it? Let's hit the press conference with Liam Coen.
How you doing today? Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
And you did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the controversy is Adam Schefter, who has a massive megaphone, is I think the first person who really put it on blast in a national way and captioned it with something very positive, like this is so beautiful or great or something like that. And then all these curmudgeon-y beat reporters, and Conor, I do want to hear your take on this because you are a grizzled reporter who's been in these rooms far more than Mark and I have, basically said, no, she's everything that is wrong with people that being in a media room like that shouldn't be, that's taking the spot of a reporter that's trying to do their job. And then Pat McAfee writes like a 200-word like screed about like how this is an example of how journalism sucks and like
anti-journalism school.
Yeah, like I've gamed the system and you guys are all extinct and all this stuff. It's like, everybody, let's calm down. Let's turn down the temperature a little bit and let Conor bitch about it. Okay, Conor. And then we'll move on.
I think this is where I've landed on this after a very long day of.
You can't have a measured response, by the way. You either have to be big mad or big sympathetic. Like, this has got me off to a weird feeling right now.
Well, okay, I can
You've
say.
thought about your answer.
You could say like Pat McAfee and then also say that like this woman wasn't doing anything that she believed to be wrong, and it's up to every individual team to credential who they want to credential. And I think that the only problems that can flow from something like this are, I know a lot of people who can't get credentialed for these things, right? That have been writing about a team for decades or whatever, and then they see a press conference like this and they're like, well, why does a team tell me that I'm not serious and then this person gets to be logged as serious? And, everybody has a different definition of it. And so I think it's gotten so out of hand and prickly. And the thing to really underline about this is it's a no-win for people who are in press conferences to talk about it because everybody already hates us anyway. No one gives a shit about us. No one thinks we should be in there. Everyone thinks we ask shitty questions. And so it's the worst possible, most unwinnable argument for any of us to have. And so that is ultimately what I believe more than anything out of all this.
I appreciate it's not worth talking about. I like having spent a lot of time on Twitter today. Like, I think had Twitter been around when 9/11 occurred, this story would have outshone that 9/11, because it was like literally 17 billion back and forths about this over and over. And I think the preciousness of some of the tweets and some of the only thing that bothers me, because I think you're right about the fact that if you're going to be in that room, use your time wisely. We all get annoyed at the combine and other places where someone asks the question that just derails everyone, especially when it's the last question. And she did nothing wrong. Like, I think that I get the people that are like, why is everyone freaking out? She's positive. But my thing is just this, like, if you're going to preach to everyone, like, just do it in a way that doesn't make you also seem like you're above everyone. Like, the big journo responses today, in some cases I found very tedious, and yet not from you, Conor. Like, I think you're coming from a more measured place, but
yeah, I was actually hoping Conor would have some insane fiery take, but you know what? This shows that you're a wise man, and you speak in a measure. This is post TNC, and I respect it.
Well, here's the thing too. I think ultimately, a lot of times after a press conference, you can get in a word with the head coach, and if you felt in your heart that you needed to say that to Liam Coen, you could very easily position yourself near the end of the stage and get up and put your arm around him and say, hey, I'm really sorry that you guys lost that game. And I think that that's maybe what you were going for anyway. And then it doesn't take a question away. If somebody's curious about something that happened over the course of the game that they can't probably chase him down and ask, and maybe that's just the best form to do it in. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
she is a local journalist like that. I mean, that was kind of lost in the initial blush of all this. But
somebody pulled up Stefanski in one of his last press conferences. A Cleveland area reporter did something very similar. It was like, "Hey, we just want to let you know that we know this wasn't your fault, and the team didn't set you up well for success, especially on the offensive side of the ball." And he was like, "Well, I appreciate that." It's like,
well, he was nodding to every point too. This was correct,
which is notable.
But it's the same thing in a way. You're right.
But two other surprises. You're back to calling Twitter, not X. You've been sneaking into X lately.
It's good.
Interesting.
I don't know what to call it.
And you used a 9/11 ref, not a JFK ref. So a little outside the Sessy box there.
I think that I'm saying, well, okay, sure.
All right. Let's if you're on live with us right now, we're going to keep rolling. And if you're on the audio side, we're going to take a quick break and finish things out with some chat questions and comments. Stay right there. All right, we move on. By the way, people have the opportunity. Justin, can you jump back in? Where's Justin? Justin's probably ripping that vape hard. We haven't seen him much today.
He's in his garage right now. Oh, there he is.
Are you all right?
What's up?
How you doing?
Great.
Look, now your Titans light is on. Your that Titans helmet was spinning earlier in the show. None of that stuff was on, and I said, "Oh man, he's scrambling a little bit." Now it looks like everything's calmed down. You look great, and I feel comfortable bringing you into the show.
Thanks. Yeah, I was scrambled. You know, these live shows, man, they get my anxiety
You're killing it, buddy.
Pumping. Luckily, I have this to cool myself off.
Uh-oh, here we go. Is this legal on a live stream? Is this going to get us kicked?
Who knows? I'm over 18. Don't do this at home.
All right, let's go through. First of all, what are they called? Super chats? Take us through this live stream world. Let's check out some super chats. People that have given us very kindly donations toward the hedonists that are helping the heroes. We appreciate you. So throw some up there, Justin, and then maybe a few questions as well. All right, Junior Nugget. Thank you very much, Junior Nugget, for your donation. So Mike Tomlin is getting fired, right? Yeah, we kind of hit that earlier. I would say
conscious uncoupling.
Yes.
All right, I say no. I think he survives. I think getting to the playoffs is probably going to save his bacon. That's what I think. You guys think he's out? That's 2-1. We'll see. That's interesting.
Well, I think
he might want to be.
Yeah,
out.
I think he chooses to walk away. Yeah.
Is this contract?
I'm a degenerate.
It might be like Peyton, where I think there might be, because he had to do an extension. Was it last year?
Can you check that, Justin? Yeah, because that's a big part of it too. Because walking away, forget about looking up whether Jason Garrett's a Republican or Democrat. Can you just find out if Tomlin's contract is up?
Under contract through 2027, signed a 3-year extension.
Walking away from that
24.
Unless NBC backs up the Brink truck for Sunday Night Football or something. I don't know. Maybe that could happen, but.
Well, also I looked up Open Secrets donor lookup. Jason Garrett's never donated to a political candidate, so
okay.
I did.
The investigation continues.
Yeah.
Konkos, thank you for the donation. I heed the most for Mark, my handsome prince. There you go, Mark. Look at this, Mark. What a heartthrob. Mark is looking good tonight.
Are these real?
Yeah, this is $5 tipped to us. Donated.
Someone paid $5 to say that you're looking good tonight.
They put it right down the shirt.
I saw someone say he looks tired and needs to change his background. So
Junior Nugget asks, "We smashed the subscriptions. Give us the juicy deets, Conman." That is a great call, and don't worry, we did not forget about it.
Release the
files. Sean Payton, we promised you, the audience, that when we hit 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, you would get the delicious and scandalous Sean Payton, Conor Orr story. It's going to come, what do you think, Mark? Thursday preview show?
I think
during Broncos
Thursday is perfect because we're talking a lot of Broncos on Thursday.
Are you starting to get a little nervous now, Conor, that you're actually going to have to tell a story that maybe you feel like there's been too much build up for? You could be honest about that.
Well, too much buildup for sure, but I'm also trying to tell it in a way that, because there's qualifiers, you need to understand the situation, but it can't be 11 minutes long, and so I'm editing right now. I'm in the editing process.
And we appreciate that you're putting that effort into it.
Yeah.
Snubs Grandin asked, all right, missed that. Eric Williams asked, Sean Payton's story prediction. Conor wrote a mildly critical piece. Payton DM'd him a photo of Conor's house and family. Certainly feels like a Sean Payton possibility.
Shout out to Harrison Quack for this donation and a second donation.
Purdue 2026 March Madness champions. We'll get Mark's deep dive on the college hoops at a later date this season. Angriest, Mark definitely got better than a 39 on the state mandated math test. Probably. What's that in reference to, though? I don't know.
Ever?
I don't know.
Yeah, but I came close to. Well, because that's the score you. Achieved.
Yeah. Oh, famously, I got a 39. Yeah. Yes. Junior Nugget, Calvin Garrett has been registered voter in Dallas County, Texas since 2008. There's not a party affiliation noted on the public lookup. Okay. Isn't it weird that you could look that stuff up?
Look at how many Junior Nugget tips we have. What a great guy.
What a boss, man.
Yeah. We're loving Junior Nugget.
Here's just a quick shout out from the Mark Aguirre. I wonder if that's the
That's Mike
real
Aguirre?
Mark.
That's Mike.
That would, never mind then.
All right.
Tim Wallman. Thank you, Tim Wallman.
He, the F and Call Baby, best NFL podcast ever, especially the Gravedigger.
That wasn't. Yeah, I'm just paying us $10.
Got to fly that up there.
Yeah. What else we got?
Another one. Potato
Face. Y'all my only friends.
You too, Potato Face.
Yeah, I don't have many friends, so we're all in this together. This is a good one. Smalls HD chimes in. Ben Johnson walks the walk and Sirianni talks the talk. I tend to agree. Mark disagrees, and that's just everybody has opinions on things.
Well, I just think that we're talking about someone that's been in our hemisphere for 9 months doing this with their mouth running. We'll see what happens. I love
Karen Lee Wu asks, one of the dozens of women checking in. We have 41 female listeners / viewers. And,
on the nose.
Karen is one of them. We actually lost one to natural causes. It was 42. Yeah, she was 112 years old, though, so not even really a tragedy. Probably doing everybody a favor in a way. Hisdale, really enjoying the show with Dan, Connor, Justin, and all the guys.
Never gets old.
Never gets old.
Justin, if you're going to fly this one up, you're going to have to say it.
Chris Yee 1292 says, with a 420 donation, Justin is my favorite heart.
Oh my God. Are you like an icon now that we've lost the great Bob Weir? Have you moved up? Are you like an icon amongst drug users, like recreational drug users?
Yeah.
Are you top 10? Is that what happened?
I used to call them when I was in college. I would call them Hidals, like my idol who's high. My Hidals.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
And you shed that
Essential.
post college. You shed that.
People are listening right now. Justin.
This is a comment, Bungalow Joe 18, from my dad's friend, Party Joe. Party J
Joe.
is in Phoenix, Arizona right now with the Party Brothers on a boys trip. And instead of hanging out or doing whatever they do, they are right now tuned into our live stream. And they also sent us the
shout out Party. Look at these guys.
Oh, we love these guys.
Left to right, that's Party Bill, Party Brian,
Love
Party
it.
Joe,
What a crew.
and my dad, Party
So
Jay.
many dad golf jokes. So many, probably the best one I'll hit all day.
They should have.
that's great.
They should have the podcast.
You could totally live stream this like on their phone at the strip club, which is
That was
good
like,
for them.
that was like another, that was Back to the Future Part 2. That's us in 25 years.
I hope so. That'd be great.
25
Awesome.
years.
Shout out to Party J. Party J is the man. Met him in New Orleans. Party Elise, his wonderful wife. They created Justin. So they've done well.
That's how parenthood
Created
works.
him.
Well, they did. They did.
That's
All right.
true.
I think
Technically.
we have anything else? One more? Why don't you throw one more up there? Thank you to
we had-
everybody, even if we didn't
Yes.
get to you. We really appreciate your support.
We had one good football question, but I don't know. We're kind of past it, I guess.
Okay. JCDFOS, do we think the Bears win another close one against the Rams next week? You know what? You're going to have to wait for the Thursday preview when we're going to get into that, but it does feel like we are set up for a great round 2 after a fairly epic round 1. I cannot wait. All right. Good stuff. Mark, final thoughts.
What a joy it is to be with almost all of you.
Thank you to everybody. We'll be back Wednesday with James Palmer breaking down all the coaching carousel. So make sure you are there for that. And until then, again, thank you to everybody that was in the live chat making this show special. Shout out to Bob Weir. Shout out, Mark. Conor, you have anything to say about the Grateful Dead before the music hits?
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't have that much time. Greatest band of all time.
Absolutely.
Heed the
Rest
call.
in peace.